Welcome to Wickedshizuku's Reviews, bringing you a southern perspective on books, movies, music, and much, much more. Stick around for a while, you just might hear something wicked. Hi everyone. Well, I hope you all have had a good week. Regardless of what the hell's going on in the news. Kind of a crazy day on InfoWars. Had quite a few interesting guests, I'll give it that. I really don't have much lined up today. I just was jumping on and seeing what was going. So So there's been a lot of talk about this Hawaii, Maui wildfire. I find it really interesting. Well, I don't find it interesting. It's a tragedy. Prayers go up to all of those lost and still missing. I hope aid comes. And what the Hawaiian state government, whatever FEMA is doing, shame on you. You definitely should be helping those people. You shouldn't be holding up aid in any way. That's completely wrong. And you want to send more money over to the Ukraine? I don't think so. It's just, by this point, how much more does it take for people to actually see that Ukraine is nothing but a big money laundering operation? And for more to keep coming out about the Bidens, the more you're going to see Orange Man persecuted. And that's the way it seems. What I don't think that they were expecting was the bounce back in the support of Trump at all. I kind of think that Governor DeSantis in Florida jumped the shark. Really think he should have waited until 2028 for him to be able to build a stronger base. It doesn't seem like the media team that he has is doing him any favors, or before he even laid off so many. So, that's just a outsider's look on it. Oh, there was an interesting comment. I also saw about Elon Musk, and one of the normal questions that Alex Jones always asks is, "What do you think about Elon Musk?" Well, good and bad. I other than the Neuralink, I think that it goes too far, the implications of it, in order to be able to connect to the Internet of Things, and I don't think that's safe at all. Um, yeah, when it with the Neuralink and everything, I think it would be extraordinary for people that are blind or that have seizures to be able to turn the seizures off, or um other small minute things, to be able to restore a paraplegic's function in their extremities again. I mean, that would be fantastic. Being able to help people that have been brain damaged with TBI, from with veterans that come home with PTSD, TBIs, traumatic brain injuries and stuff. I really think that Neuralink could go and go towards helping with Neuralink, but also at the same time, when it goes further than being able to restore those types of things, I think you're dabbling too much into trying to play God, and he'll have his vengeance. That's for damn sure. So I wouldn't recommend going any further than that. You know, restoring the blind and everything, but there's also that one scripture that says, he'll perform miracles and things. Yeah, so always keep that one in mind. It does. There's no set person. It's the spirit who enters a vessel. um think of it as the Osiris story in Horus, and how the Egyptian gods would embody another. For example, Amun Ra. I don't exactly know where the hell I'm going with that one, but it's merged and everything. Uh, all of the theology and catechisms and all of that stuff. There was something that a Mormon had told me many, many, many years ago. I think I was probably maybe 19 or 20 or so, and he said to me, think of religion itself as a glass table, and that the table has been shattered, and that it is up to you, in order to be able to go to every piece of work, uh, art, and that there's a granule of truth to be able to put the table back together. And that when that shattered table comes back together from so many theologies, that's just holding on to one kernel of truth. So that's the reason for the study of many religions and not just one. Now, is everything right in, like, Pastafarianism? I don't know. Maybe there's one thing. Maybe there's one thing to make life better in that religion. Who knows? Uh, so, uh, going past that whole theological discussion and everything, wow, probably doesn't make any damn sense when it's not put together on a streamlined Substack article, so to say, to read out. There's a lot more bouncing around in my brain than I care to admit. So, what can we get into? So, we can get into. We will see what my YouTube algorithm has for. We go to screen share. Next. Here to YouTube. Stu Does America is on. Chat Prather's already been on. Timcast, no. It's Monday, August 14th, 2023. What has Greg got to say here? Yes, I have to watch the stupid ads since my ad block plus stopped.
American history. Joe Biden refusing to comment as the death toll in Hawaii rises to 96 Americans, with hundreds more missing.
Mr. President, are you going to take questions on Maui?
Can you come talk about Maui? Will you come talk about the Hawaii response, Mr. President?
Apparently, Biden couldn't be bothered to comment while soaking.
Wow, what the hell is that? I mean, this reminds me of exactly of what happened with East Palestine, and Orange Man eventually went up there. And then, what was it, 2-3 days later, old Mr. Buttigieg was going up to East Palestine in order to be able to say, hey, I'm here, what can I do to help? Ronald Reagan said, there are 9 words that you should never trust. I'm from the government, and I'm here to help. Yeah, never, 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 never. I think the only thing that they might ever be on time on is those Social Security checks and those foodie stamps refills, you know? I think that's the only thing that they ever fucking think about. Because it sure doesn't seem like, you know, they're gonna help old poor whites because we're white.
Up the last minutes of his beach vacation in Delaware. Nor could he be pestered once he was back at the White House to talk to reporters, his press secretary.
Okay, I'm sorry, I just can't do it. Y'all, catch up. Either that or your baby tomatoes.
Defending the decision to keep quiet.
Has the president given any advice that he should not speak about Hawaii at this point? Because when he spoke the other day, he had a death plan remarks. The death toll is now roughly tripled. It's now the worst in history. He had an opportunity to stop by to see us when he arrived back. So you could expect to hear from the president on this issue. Clearly, it is something that is deeply concerning to him. You'll hear from the president on this. I don't have anything to announce at this time, but certainly, he's the president, right? You're going to hear from him.
There you go. We're also learning more about how the disaster unfolded and why so many people were vulnerable. Residents say they didn't hear the state's robust siren warning system, which is the largest in the world with about 400 alarms. Officials admitting it sat silent during the deadly wildfire. That's pretty crazy. Dana, you have history in this. I wanted to...
Wait. You're saying that the sirens were silent? Well, that doesn't surprise me. That happens all the fucking time with tornado sirens. I don't know. And there might have been bigger implications there. I don't know all the facts, so I can't speculate on that. Need more data.
You know, there's always this game of tragedy tag. The party out of power tags the guy in power, regardless of whether it's Katrina or Sandy or what's happening now. This is different. This is not.
It's a little different. Yes, and look, I would say on Hurricane Katrina, it was a horrible tragedy, a terrible thing that happened. There were a lot of things that got glossed over, we could say, in the press, so much so that later on, during his book tour, Oprah Winfrey apologized to President Bush on her show for criticizing him at the time. So, for the responsibilities the federal government had, they were important ones, and lessons were learned from that, which helped deal with other hurricanes. In this situation with President Biden, I've wondered if he didn't hear the question, and if his answer to every question is, we're looking at it, okay, well, that could be a question, but this does seem very strange for somebody who is an empathetic person. You would think that maybe he could say, let's do a couple of things here, like, perhaps...
Oh, okay. So, I have a little experience in this, and that's helping take care of an elderly grandparent. And this is, I said the exact same thing that I said about Dianne Feinstein uh, in one of my Mothers to Monsters articles. Um, yeah, how dare you? Shame on you, Jill Biden. You should be taking care of your husband at the and seeing him through his sunset years instead of you are dragging him through this. Just to stand him up so he can mess himself. Shame on you, woman. You know no moral fiber.
ask former
Shame.
President Obama if he would pitch in, maybe help lead a delegation, and maybe that will happen. Or perhaps you could call a cabinet meeting, even if it's virtual, and say, I want the full power of the federal government to make sure that everyone here, I want the housing guy on, I want health here, I want HUD here, my small business, I want all the DHS people I can find, EPA, make sure you're, well, I don't understand why none of that is happening. And I felt that you could see or hear a little bit of exasperation in Corinne Jean-Pierre's voice because she didn't have anything else to say. So the president's on vacation, and guess what? He's going on another vacation, so it's like a vacation plus vacation.
I don't know, Brian. This seems pretty fishy to me. What if he's just out of it? He's just done. I mean, this would be the perfect thing to it's not even addressing.
This is the easiest thing in the world, and you can also shut down any hunting clubs. It's not this time. Yeah. You saw the death rate. We have 93 dead. That number could triple in a matter of hours. I'm not going to sit here and talk about any personal issues. Right now, I'm going to tell you my heart goes out to the people of Hawaii. And I'm sending the vice president there. Brilliant data, because I said Barack Obama's a phone call away. So Barack Obama, I'm surprised he didn't pick up the phone and say, do you know how bad this is? Right? Because I know these people. Number two is to have maybe 43 and 42 go out there together. The way 41 and 42 Bill Clinton did with Thailand and everything would have been perfect. But this is the easiest thing in the world. Devastation. The world's watching. Democratic state. There's no political downside to caring. And he doesn't even have anyone next to him to say, this person, you got to get outside the car again. They just asked you, what do you think of Maui? And the fact is, it's Monday at noon. He has a delay until 11:30, and they leave her out there. She still hasn't made a statement. It's crazy. And to me, it's where it's like, Harold and I were talking on the break. You think you didn't hear him, but you had 3 days to hear him. Yeah. 3 days to do something the easiest thing in the world is to show you care.
Yeah, Harold. Why? What's your problem?
I'm able to agree with people when they're right. When I think they're right, I agree wholeheartedly with Dana and Brian. And with only, and he could have also said that he at the very start of this awful, at the start of this tragedy, he made available every aspect of the federal government. To not say that is perplexing to me.
Judge.
Time for the 25th Amendment. I think that this is an absolute scenario where any human being.
Yes, Miss Judge Janine, I agree. I agree that the 25th Amendment should have already been used and passed. Here's the thing. If they try to put Kamala in because she is not a naturalized citizen, meaning both parents were born in the United States, she is not qualified to be president of the United States. I know it sucks, but that's the rules. Okay? So, who's next in line, everyone? It's Kevin McCarthy. Now that puts a new angle on it now, doesn't it? Think. You're getting distracted by what Fox is telling you.
would say our heart goes out to those who are missing family members, to those who we've lost. Only 3% of the impacted areas have been searched. Do you have any idea how many more people we're going to find? And this president can't even say, by the way, he went to church Sunday morning. Okay, it's all theater to him. None of this is real. He got in as the empathic president, and he hasn't acted that way. Look, he wouldn't go to Palestine on the mainland. You think he's going to go to Hawaii? And so I kind of picked up what Trump did when he was president. He visited Texas during Hurricane Harvey, Florida, Hurricane Irma, Puerto Rico.
Yeah, so this is okay. We're a little. This just popped up in my gray matter. So, this is one of the reasons that I got so bent out of shape on Twitter. Let me go to it. I believe it was when Kevin McCarthy was trying to get voted in for Speaker of the House. And did y'all see what happened with Congressman Mike Rogers? That's my representative, okay? And I at least tried to say something on Twitter because it is a public platform, and you know, hey, I yell at my senators and my representatives on Twitter. That's what I do. And you're seeing how long it takes for X just to load now for me. This is one of the reasons I just don't even want to use the internet so much anymore. And it's not my computer, because I run all of those fancy dancy programs to make sure I don't have malware or any viruses, and I do it every day. Sorry, Elon, I just don't have the $8 or however much that it costs to even subscribe or even verify my X account. So, hopefully you'll just let me keep posting my links here for. Oh, goodness. Where is it? When was it? There it is. Yep. Here it is. That is my representative shamelessly threatening to attack another representative of the United States House. How shameful. So what I said about that was, as a resident of this district, I'm appalled by Mr. Rogers' uncouth behavior. Shame on you. This is not how our state acts. You've been in D.C. for too long and clearly exhibit a need for another lesson in etiquette. Not okay. So, yeah, that's what I had to say about my representative acting so appallingly in session. And that was before I had my surgery, right before it. Yep. And some of my episodes. And I'm a big fan of One Piece. As you can see, yeah, funny stuff on my Twitter. Corny jokes. Miss Teddy.
Issues in many institutions. HR, one of the things I really can't figure out right now is for anybody who's running a company that's listening, they should think this through. But to let these postmodern neo-Marxists into your company through the guise of human resources is an absolute catastrophe. You're going to pay for that. The ideology that drives postmodern neo-Marxism, this identity politics, the identity politics movement and its insistence on equality of outcome is powerfully anti-capitalist. It's powerfully anti-Western. Why you would let that into your company is so that you can look good socially, let's say, is beyond me. It's a big mistake. I agree with you.
So yeah, there's Teddy. We do that, I don't know, at least every 20 minutes or so. I'm surprised she's not in here harassing me right now for more bottle. We have this joke where we call it the Oh Holy Bottle, and she will sit there and she will do Vespers until we give in and we give her water. So, yeah. Going back to this clip and Judge Janine saying that we need to use the 25th and talking about the hurricanes and whatnot.
Hurricane Maria, North Carolina, South Carolina, Hurricane Florence, Georgia and Florida, Michael, Alabama, tornado. It goes on and on. This is what presidents are supposed to do. They're supposed to give you a sense that we're in control, we're going to take care of this. And then when they interview the people who are on the island, they say, we haven't heard anything from the federal government. Nothing. We're only getting help from the local agencies who are helping us out. Let me tell you something. I'm curious to see whether or not Hawaii goes Democrat in 2024.
When you see Kamala Harris down there on in-state instead of...
Yeah, she do something other than laugh.
Right. Go down there and roll up her sleeves.
Exclamation point said it well also, guys. This is about, everybody wants to blame the other side every time. And this is one of those moments where not only should we give them everything they need, but everybody should do what President Bush and your team did. You learn from what you did right and what you did wrong. Because there's some things they did wrong in Hawaii. At least the way the public narrative reads, that they're going to learn in this investigation. Their attorney general is conducting.
Evidently, the power system ignited everything. Yeah. And there was no water in the hydrants. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
It went, I think, a mile every minute, the fire went. Every minute it covered a mile of property.
Well, I get the sense that it's a lot worse than we know right now. And I'm not just talking about Hawaii. I'm talking about Hawaii. That's my feeling. It's terrible in Hawaii, but White House.
It's instinctive when you couldn't walk over the camera and just do what anybody else did.
Say God help them.
Well, I like also coming out of the church service.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a natural place to do that.
All right, next, the mobs are busting out the bear spray to ransack a luxury store in crime-ridden California.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey,
wow.
click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page.
That was crazy. I only get a tiny snippet of it. That was probably going to be good. Jiffy cornbread. Nah. Don't have any right now. Outrageous. Huh. What is this? And yet I said,
this how it go, man.
We need a president who cares about the people. and loves the people.
You're somebody of such extraordinary grit and kindness, and people bring the exact kind of empathy that is so badly lacking in this White House.
I hope the American people, when we get to the White House,
Shame
know
on
that we
you,
feel the
Jill
same.
Biden.
Well, Joe Biden was supposed to restore compassion and bring empathy to the White House. Well, here's that compassion for the American people. They look for this, right? Well, this weekend, he was asked about the devastating fires in Hawaii. Were you going to talk about the Hawaii response, Mr. President? I gotta get to dinner. Back to the beach.
Okay.
Remember for a second that a Republican president.
Now I remember what my point was. Now I remember what my point was. Okay, in my experience. We took care of my grandmother at the end for about 3 or 4 years, and she had the combined Alzheimer's and dementia. Now, dementia and Alzheimer's are two different beasts. And the difference between the two of them is that dementia is short-term memory loss. I mean, it's like marijuana use on mutant steroids or something. And Alzheimer's is long-term memory. So when you have Joe Biden talking and waxing poetic about things that he remembers from a long time ago, but he can't remember 5 minutes ago, that's dementia. Now, if he's just looking there staring into space and somebody's right there speaking to him, that's also dementia. The locked way he walks, he doesn't bend his knees. So that is very strange. And also, he clenches his hands a lot. And there's also the ice cream socials and everything. And ice cream supposedly helps with brain stimulation and everything. So, for a little while after eating ice cream or yogurt, something very cold, my grandmother, she would perk up for about an hour or so. And you could actually carry on kind of a conversation with her. And she wouldn't be so ornery. So that's one thing. And by the point, some people, I have heard their experiences with their grandparents was just so much worse. That their grandparents, they started cussing and screaming, blaming them for, molesting them or something. I mean, just very childish pranks and whatnot. And it was just an awful situation for them. And they got to the point where they were like, I'll just be glad when they finally do go, because it's she's such a mean old bag kind of thing. And I was just, whoa. I mean, it just completely blew my way of thinking, because I've always been a family person, and as I lose more and more family members, and then come to find out, the JAB is as deadly as Alex Jones was screaming about for all of these fucking years. I've got my mom, my dad, my sister and her partner, my brother, my middle brother, and his wife. And they've all taken shots. And we live in a deeply red place where there's been lots of people dropping like flies. I don't know if you could call it correlation or causation, because they're not supposed to equal each other necessarily. And sometimes when you look at something and it's just so damn simple, that's got to be the answer. So I'm just glad that all of the information is finally getting out. It's about damn time. With YouTube restrictions and the word police out there, who knows how long people will be able to upload freely to any platform. But that's dark. So let's carry on with Biden on his bicycle, shall we?
You think the media would let him get away with it? Not a chance. They were all upset when Trump remember throwing the paper towels
They got all upset about that. Now, with Biden's son himself on the beach, GOP candidates were in Iowa meeting with voters at the state fair. Now, the crowds were big. I've been to the Iowa State Fair before. It's a lot of fun. And they were really big crowds.
Yeah,
President
that
Trump.
looks like a lot
But
of
this gives us
fun.
a sense of what the 2024 campaign season would actually look like. Joining us now, Victor Davis Hanson, senior fellow at the Hoover Institution, Monica Crowley, former assistant treasury secretary. in the
Ooh,
Trump
it's
administration.
Victor Davis
Victor, I should say that right
Hanson.
now, the Fulton County, Georgia grand jury is about to hand down.
I'm reading his Who Killed Homer book right now. I really like
Trump
it.
is in court apparently the whole campaign because this is what looks like it's the way it's going to play out.
Yeah, I think Biden has settled into a tripart strategy, Laura. On the one hand, he's going to be a virtual president, go to the beach, and he's going to go to Tahoe, I guess, next week. Not comment. He's on the beach while a whole beach city has been wiped out, and he can't even make one remark about it. So he's just going to retire and be a construct and let the Obama, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren wing continue to run the country. And then he's going to stonewall all of these looming indictments, and then they're going to fixate on Donald Trump, and they think this is going to get us through the next 17 months. It may, but there's some problems with it. Some of these indictments are so ridiculous, in fact, the majority of them, that they're building a huge pushback. And Biden is declining, and we've been saying this for the last few years, but it's getting very egregious now. It's so obvious that I don't know if it's going to be sustainable for the next 17 months. And then finally, unlike the Trump impeachments or the Clinton impeachments or the potential Nixon impeachment, Joe Biden is facing charges that are in the Constitution of bribery. And if he did it quid pro quo for a foreign government when the family received money and they can prove that, that's almost treasonous. So I'm not sure that he's going to be just protected because there's a Republican Senate. So this is going to be a very interesting 17 months. He's in a race against the truth, to tell you the truth.
I'm sorry, I disagree just a smidge, one word. It's not almost treasonous, it is treasonous, sir. He sold our country out. That's just how I feel about it. Can I prove it? No. I'm a piss poor peon with no fucking degree.
Monica, Biden announced today that he's going to send a one-time payment of $700 to every household that's suffering now. That's an interesting number, especially when you see it compared to this headline. U.S. inflation means families are spending $709 more per month than 2 years ago. Monica, so really need to give people $1,400, I guess. My family's getting $700 each.
Yes, I mean, American people are really suffering a very drastic cost of living crisis, and it's directly out of Joe Biden's hand.
Well, Andrew Yang had quite a few proposals of exactly how to circumvent that thing and actually pay for the UBI, but, you know, nobody wants to entertain that conversation, but it's got to be had, people, because guess what? Robotics are coming. They're here, and they are taking over people's jobs. They're taking over all sorts of writers' jobs and everything with the use of ChatGPT. Half of the novels that y'all are getting nowadays, a lot of writers are starting to cheat using ChatGPT. Not right. Morally wrong. Just saying.
In the hands of the Democrats, who, once they entered office in 2021, they began spending like drunken sailors and created this drastic inflationary environment, Laura. So here he is, he's going to give out checks once again. You know, this is mailbox money from the government, money that we do not have and cannot afford, at the same time spending an additional $25 billion to Ukraine. While the people of the United States are suffering, whether it's the devastated community in Hawaii, whether it's the people of East Palestine and Ohio, whether it's the folks in the border towns, whether it's the people in collapsing cities across America, people suffering from the fentanyl crisis, people suffering from higher gas prices and skyrocketing inflation. He does not care. He sold himself in the last campaign, Laura, as Friend Joe, as somebody who's going to champion the little guy, and instead he's only championed the big guy himself. And enriched and empowered himself throughout his political career and cannot be bothered with taking care of the American people.
You see this black box right here? Well, I'm going to show you something right now. Some people are concerned that they might have to go for a long period.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I mean, he's cared about Wall Street, the big donors, Victor, who want him to pretend to be tough on China so they can get cover themselves. But in reality, of course, they're not tough on China. But a reporter today asked the press secretary about Biden's strange decision not to even speak about the Hawaii wildfires. Watch this, Victor.
Is the president given any advice that he should not speak about Hawaii at this point? He had an opportunity to stop by to see us when he arrived back. Clearly is something that is completely concerning to him when it comes to the fire wildfires that we've seen in Maui. Certainly, because he's the president, right? You're going to hear from him.
Ugh.
This is so strange. Are they drafting a speech for him, Victor, that you can't just say this is a horrifying event and we're here for you?
Oh, he's getting so antsy. He's ready to answer. Look at him. He's ready. He's ready.
And this is a media that criticized George W. Bush because he didn't have big enough waiters when he waited out in Katrina. And Joe Biden is the president of the United States. You should get off the beach. You should fly out to Maui. You should have C-17s coming in every hour with a big airlift and treat these people much like they are American citizens. And, you know, we treat people in different countries a lot better than we do Americans. And this is just shocking that he's going to go from, as I said, from one vacation to another and from one beach side to a lake side where people in Maui have no beach. They're destroyed. Their lives are destroyed. And he doesn't seem to care. And he's a virtual president, as I said, and at some point it's not going to be sustainable. Each day the media is struggling and frantically trying to construct and recalibrate a presidency that no longer doesn't exist anymore.
Well, really quickly, Monica, Zelensky snaps his fingers, and sometime soon after that, he'll get something, right? And the people of Maui are suffering, and the president's shirtless on the beach. His beach. It is a wild thing to care so much about Ukraine and not really seem to care much about the American people across the board.
Well, Joe Biden and his family have enriched themselves via Ukraine and that corrupt regime and corrupt players in Ukraine to the tune of tens of billions of dollars. So, of course, he's prioritizing Ukraine over the American people. But this is what you get with America last. President Trump put America first. Joe Biden has America and America's interests and the American people last.
Yeah, and that's the most compassionate thing you can do. Care about the American middle class, especially. And
Oh, that's sad. So and I shall be back in just a moment. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. Okay, where shall we go now? All right, I have I've been holding off watching this one because look at it, it's 2 hours and 45 minutes. But hey, anyone out there that isn't on the Alex Jones circuit, y'all need to fucking get on that one because yeah, it's almost a month old when old Mr. Harari was sitting here talking to Lex Freeman. Now, what's going on? What's going on with that circuit? Because I thought he was real good friends with Joe Rogan, and Joe Rogan's really, really, really good friends with Alex Jones. That doesn't make sense. What the fuck's going on? You know? Or was Lex sent in to talk to Harari on purpose? I don't know. I'm definitely going to watch it. I'm not going to watch it on one of these actual episodes. You're just going to get short little Fox clips or either little shorts. I don't know, and you'll get reactions off of it. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be watching that one for sure. More stuff about Maui. I'm so sorry, everyone. I really, really hope that help arrives. Now, wouldn't it be easier if I just posted or just pushed the news tab there? And everybody's going crazy over this song. It's a really good song, I'll give it that, but I really don't want to cry right now. I will boo-hoo like a baby. So, I'm not going to be listening to Rich Men North of Richmond. It's a powerful song, and it's very authentic. And what else about the news? Vivek Ramaswamy. Now, I've been following him a long time since since Woke Inc. came out, and I read part of it. I think I read maybe 2-3 chapters, and I was like, yeah, no. But I do get where the guy's coming from. There's a few questionable things that I've come across with, but he's already said something very quickly on the topic, and that was him being added to the list of the world leaders of the World Economic Forum. Now, the way he explained it is that they merely just add names, that they don't consult with these people before they're put on the list. It's just like, surprise, you're who's who. I'm not sure, does it or does it not? I mean, I really don't know. And to find anything on Ramaswamy older than going back before Woke Inc., you find his valedictorian's speeches and stuff from his college graduation, or was it high school or something? He provided that himself, though, on his own little station channel. What do you want to call it? But he has excellent talking points. He's been paying attention. He's been doing his homework. He's very well researched. He's young. He's fresh. I don't know about the naturalized citizenship. Were his parents born in the States? If yes, then he has every freaking chance to be a president. I have to question, though, why he came in it in 24. Or is he running for vice president, or is he running for the vice presidential position? Yes, Nina.
I'm sorry. I thought you were talking.
Your dad went to go get your brother from work.
Oh, is he getting the groceries himself?
He's going to grab a few things. He waited too long until,
Yeah, I was just waiting.
I'm sorry. He thought you fell asleep. Don't come into the stream. Okay. Alright. Alright. He'll be back soon. I believe he was going to get the essentials. Alright. No problem. Oh. So, let's keep going. Matthew Whitaker wants A.G. Garland to explain himself after Hunter probe leaks. Well, I hope this is not a big fat
This
nothing
program,
burger like
and the way it
usual.
was presented to me,
Delaware U.S. Attorney David Weiss, a special counsel on the ongoing Hunter Biden tax probe. The appointment allows Weiss to prosecute Hunter Biden in any district he deems fit, rather than just in Delaware. The move indicating the investigation into Hunter is not over. But here's what his attorney had to say about this yesterday. Watch.
I'm confident that if this prosecutor does what has been done for the last 5 years, look at the facts, the evidence, and the law, then the only conclusion can be what the conclusion was on July 26th. It's new evidence. There's no new evidence to be found.
Former U.S. Attorney General Matt Whitaker joins me now this morning, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but you've already spoken on the channel about this, that Weiss is now running up against the statute of limitations on the tax and the gun charges. So he's going to have to make either a quick decision or the clock runs out.
Yeah, remember, it's good to be with you this morning from Des Moines, Iowa, Cheryl, but you'll remember when they had the plea hearing, they filed this information on the tax charges in Delaware, and obviously they've withdrawn that, or attempting to, and now he's probably going to bring it either in California or the District of Columbia, which is, I guess, the appropriate venue, but the statute of limitations has already run for the two most serious years, 2014 and 2015, and, we're, like you said, we're running up against the statute of limitations, especially for the gun charges, so we should expect those to be filed sooner rather than later, but, for Hunter Biden, those are much more serious, because the diversion he had and the agreement he had would have gotten rid of the felony for the gun, illegal.
Well, here's the thing. Felons aren't supposed to have guns, and anybody that has been caught with the amount of cocaine that was on the scales of that one video that I seen, my goodness, that, like I said, they'd get Tyrone Biggums 20 years.
Gun possession, and now he would be facing a felony charge in that case. I just wonder why now. It just seems to me that I was calling for a special counsel for the last couple of years in the Hunter Biden case because I think it was appropriate, and I'm not sure that Weiss, based on what he's done already in this case, can be trusted, especially when the government and Hunter's attorneys have.
This is just an observation, but in the last couple of years, Mr. Whitaker has lost quite a bit of facial weight. He doesn't look the same as he did when he first took the position. He looks much more stressed, for sure. He's lost a lot of weight, and you can tell it in his neck area, though. And his laterals right here. His shoulders just aren't like they were. They were like, boom. They were square when he first got in, and now he just kind of seems a little wilted and drooped. I mean, is that what freaking Bill Barr did to him? Being his boss? Who knows? But old Mr. Bill Barr had a lot of breakfast and a lot of dinners with Mr. Bolton, which Mr. Bolton provided in a room where it happened. So, it's there. And Bill Barr also has a book called One Damn Thing After Another that I intend to peruse eventually when the library gets it. So, hooray for me.
Agreed to such a sweetheart deal in the past. I'm just not sure this is going to do justice.
Well, the Wall Street Journal points out that this means that the probe into Hunter Biden's business dealings, in particular, this is the James Comer probe, basically that may hit a dead end because, it makes it convenient.
So, if anybody that ever gets caught with tax evasion or gun charge or cocaine charges anymore, I want y'all to remember one thing. When y'all are sitting in your jail cells, you tell your damn lawyer, the one that they provide to you, you tell them, I want to countersue the government for a 14th Amendment violation because there's supposed to be equal protection under the law, and Hunter Biden has not been charged. Nobody that's in jail for that amount or those specific crimes that he's going to jail for, that he hasn't been, they're not even looking into it, but people are sitting their fannies in a cell. That's not right. And there's supposed to be equal due process.
For Weiss and for Merrick Garland, they can use this excuse of an ongoing investigation, and that investigation can go on for, well, who knows how long. I mean, I think that's a very valid point, Matt, but I do want to bring in Sheree Trump. She's on set with me. Question for you. Yeah, so the DOJ regulations
Kazakhstan,
actually has to be outside of the U.S. government. David Weiss is attorney for Delaware. So how does this work? He's the district attorney for Delaware. So how does this work exactly? How do they sidestep this issue?
Well, we're not sure that this isn't, kind of a way to make the special counsel and make Weiss somehow have to trip over that in the future. I mean, I'm not sure we can trust Merrick Garland to do things not only by the book, but also for a reason that is in the best interest of justice. I think as a former prosecutor and, obviously having sat in the chair that Merrick Garland's sitting in right now, I know that we made decisions when I was there, that were only in the interest of justice and on behalf of the American people. And we took that very seriously. Merrick Garland seems to be willing to make political decisions, at least from my perspective. And, that includes appointing a special counsel that may violate the regulations. Obviously, if if you assume that he's doing the right thing by appointing Weiss as special counsel, you have to also assume that they thought through this issue and want to give him broad power in order to pursue possible charges regarding the Foreign Court Practices Act and the Foreign Agent Registration Act. And those are very serious as part of this investigation. But again, as I look at this, I just can't figure out why now. It doesn't make any sense, and I would love to have Merrick Garland explain to the American people why he's doing this right now.
Well, many are saying that this is
Why
a political move
now?
by Merrick Garland. And to be clear, I think part of this is the judge. This may be a way to kind of
Because
that the judge who basically called out
it
that
has a
sweetheart deal,
schedule, the
basically goes in and
docket.
this
It's
is-
called the
no, this
docket.
is ridiculous. No average American, any average American would be thrown in jail for what Hunter Biden was accused, especially on gun charges. But I do want to ask you to move on to another issue here. A fourth criminal indictment against former President Trump could be issued as early this week. So you've got this Georgia grand jury. They may begin hearing evidence against the former president today. Former Georgia Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan confirming he's going to testify tomorrow. Here's what he wrote on X: "Quote, Republicans should never let honesty be mistaken for weakness." And then you've got independent journalists also posting they received a call from Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis and is required to testify. So, AJ Whitaker, what do you expect from all of this? In particular, from your experience, I think the time frame is what we're all curious about here.
Yeah, obviously in Georgia, this investigation has been going on for quite some time.
Why
It's not
now?
Finally present the
Why
case
now?
and try to bring charges. But as I was reading about this,
Well, think of it, everyone. The why now is because something really, really bad is probably about to drop about Hunter Biden. Just an observation there. I have no knowledge of what it might be, but if they went ahead and pushed this leak through, and we get to expect all damn week that he's going to be called guilty on Friday, because usually that's what they've been screaming, on all of the lefty channels. Hmm. Let's stew on it a minute.
as I've listened to some commentary, I think it's very interesting that they're using this racketeering statute that has typically been used against mobsters and organized crime. And this is another case, just like the January 6th case that recently was indicted, where they use laws that were never intended for this purpose. That the legislature in Georgia never was contemplated that this would be used in a political candidate case. And so these prosecutors are willing to be so aggressive in their pursuit of Donald Trump in order to, get him and to charge him and in their hopes to convict him. I think it's just very dangerous for justice because we need to have again, ignorance of the law is no excuse. However, you can't assume to know law that you never thought would apply to you in the first place. So this is a case along with the January 6th case. I think it's very interesting as it proceeds through the courts.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the January 6th case, because I did want to ask you about that as well. So the judge that's overseeing that case against Trump has issued this protective order. And as far as President Trump releasing sensitive evidence, the argument here is that Trump's right to free speech is, quote, not absolute. What did you make of that decision by the judge?
Yeah, I think the judge actually made a very interesting choice in where the line is drawn and the limits of the First Amendment. Our founding fathers certainly intended free speech to apply broadly. In the limits, you can't yell fire in a crowded theater, for example. However, that's the extreme case. In this case, it's only the sensitive documents, and I don't think the government necessarily is going to be required to identify those sensitive documents that can be released. So, if I'm the Trump team, it's going to be hard advising my client, Donald Trump, as to how this gag order and this restriction applies. But, he's a candidate for president. The First Amendment, is obviously on his side, as it should be, as he pursues that office. And so I would expect that, we may be back and forth fighting this, and I'll come back on your show to talk about it. But this is a very interesting order.
All right. Well, Matt, it's always good to see you. Real quick from Iowa, did you get one of those big pork chops?
Ew. Ew. No thanks. No thanks on that. I don't like pork chops fried. No, thank you. Now you put them in a crock pot with some French onion soup mix and a can of cream of mushroom soup. Oh my god, that's fantastic. Oh yeah. Oh, don't forget the brown gravy mix. That's also required in a crock pot with pork chops. And that's Oh no, what is this? Potatoes? Don't trust purple potatoes. Ew. That's just, it doesn't look right. Well. Okay, so let's go to the old reliable here. What if they come up with outside of the main three shows today. Oh, gracious. Hmm. Yeah, they haven't said much. Outside of the normal interviews. Oh, look at that. Somebody really, Laura Loomer Unleashed. You had to go and take a picture of Bolton. Wow. Now, see, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. He's everywhere. Bolton is everywhere. Oh, yes, I also listened to this Roger Stone interview with President Trump. It was very good. I really loved the interaction between the two of them. You can definitely tell that they are old friends, and Trump doesn't interrupt Roger like he does other journalists and whatnot. So it was a very good, interesting conversation between the two of them. They talked about a slew of topics. They talked about immigration, and they talked about the economy and exactly what he was going to do, first day. And I was just like, yes, this is what we need. We need an actual outline, an agenda, an itinerary, and it's all going to get screwed up due to the Atlanta, the Florida trial, the Washington D.C. and the New York trial as well. That's it. I think what Trump needs to do for it, just for the campaign's sake. I wouldn't say, just go on social media, but appeal to I don't know, have Melania come up and you know, I wouldn't say, podcast on anything, but have her do a circuit on the podcast. That would be interesting. That would be something very different. And if and heck, what would be an even more interesting draw would be that, Barron would go with her on half of them and get to know the first family. And I already know that y'all have great, I already know that Donald Trump and Melania have great morals. And this is my proof is that this is it right here. I mean, this completely was so endearing. Was this event right here was when they were having the trick or treat event at the White House, and it was just so endearing. I mean, you see him put the candy bar on top of the minion's head, and it falls off. So they give the kid another candy bar. I mean, that was just so endearing, and it was so sweet. I mean, she completely decked out the White House. It felt like Halloween there. And I was just watching the video, and I said to myself, man, if I could just be there at Halloween, that would be so great. I'd love to have it on my bucket list. That and to be able to see the turkey pardon, that would be like the greatest bucket list wish fulfilled for me, is to be able to see those pumpkins and to be able to see that turkey be pardoned and say, Butterball, you no longer have to worry. You are pardoned from the Thanksgiving dinner. But yeah, I mean, are we even going to be able to enjoy watching that ever happen again? I mean, is it going to come come to light? Are the Democrats going to cheat again? Who knows? You know, are we going to be able to see our White House restored to the wonderful standards that Melania was able to bring interior decorating to a whole new level? You know. Yeah, and all of the kids just toddling along. I mean, it was just, yeah. And that made it global, you know. This is global news. This isn't well, they have the PBS NewsHour, and that's the entire thing. It was like a 45-minute to an hour event, and it was the entire thing, you know. And how smooth it looked with the Secret Service and everything. It was like they were all out of sight, but you knew that President Trump was completely protected and everything. I mean, these guys, they ain't no they're no pushovers. Yep. But that was the event that endeared me to President Trump right there, and nothing's going to change that particular one right there. Because I grudgingly voted for Trump the first time. My dad was so gung-ho. He was like, Trump's gonna win, he's gonna do it, he'll bring our country out of it. And you know, I was about 2 years in or so, and it was like, yeah, I gotta admit, you know, when he fixed the VA, it was just like, yeah, I finally see it. You know, he finally addressed the fucking biggest gorilla in the room, which is the VA, and how poorly it serves our soldiers. Our soldiers hurt, and they don't have the relief that they need, you know. My own soldier, you know, we have to wait months and months and months just for a phone call to schedule a mental health checkup. That's going to be months and months and months from then. So, I mean, it's terrible what happened to the system. You know, it was running so much better, and we were able to get the help that we needed, and you know, they reduced his disability. Whenever, you know, there's like a fluctuation whenever he doesn't go to school. They don't send his disability check in full. They only give like a percentage. You know, like when he's going to school, he gets the full amount, and that's like, I think he said like $1,700 per month, so it covers the bills. And Medicaid and SNAP, they takes care of the rest of the expenses. I mean, we don't live much outside of that, and almost every damn penny's taken up now just by keeping lights, water, and the internet on anymore. And I mean, it's pitiful that a sack of potatoes the last time I went out was $2.99 pound or so. So it was about maybe $10 to be able to get a 5 pound bag, I think it was. And supposedly that same 5 pound bag went up, way up. And it's like $13-14.99 now. It's like, what in the heck happened? Oh yeah, the food plants got burned. So those are things that the locals in those areas really need to look into. Please, everybody. If we're going to keep going, we need those people that had some sort of factory disaster. We need you guys at your county commissions finding out what happened. Are they going to open the plant again? I mean, all of those stuff. We need updates. You know, citizen journalists, get up, get out there. we need help. You know, we need reliable stuff, and we can't depend on corporate media anymore. So what are we going to do? What would Orange Man do? Orange Man would tell the government to get out of the way so that businessmen and women are able to thrive economically and business. I mean, that's all he is, right? Business, business, business. He's very compassionate on top of that. I did learn that over all of these 6-7 years studying President Trump. I mean, it's just been nonstop ever since he got in. I remember the day that he was inaugurated, I was reading Candide by Voltaire. It was the first time I'd ever read it, and I was like, any other day, this would be hilarious. But as I looked up to see him being sworn in, I was just like, this is just not funny. And any other day, I would have found Candide absolutely hysterical and and absolutely absurd. So I mean, it's just going to be one of those that I have to revisit because of the day that I read it. It was just like, oh, this is just not going to be great. Because immediately you start hearing about all of the activist stuff that happened to during Trump's inauguration. You don't hear that from the press media at all. You hear, oh, there was a ruckus. No, there was a little bit more than a ruckus from what I understand. And that stuff just completely escalated, and to the point where these people, they burned a church down. And they used the nursery to do it. I mean, how dare you people? How dare you? I mean, thank the Lord that nobody was was harmed in it. You know, I didn't ever hear if any emergency management people were hurt, but you know, it was the intent. You threw it into the nursery of the church. It's like you were saying with that message that you're intentionally targeting the Christians' children. That's reprehensible. Also, also at the same time, the optics of that particular photo. Well, the media called it a photo shoot, but it didn't. Optically, it didn't look good. Maybe it would have looked better if President Trump had taken the Bible and done like this to it and everything and looked at it. But holding it up like he did, it was just, I don't know, the optics on it didn't look good, and it was like, yeah, the media's going to use that one against you just because of how it looks. So, yeah, oh yeah. Big mess. Big messes. And, oh, Tucker has something. What is this? Did Tucker have a new one? I will have to check that out, but I'm not going to do it now. Mark Levin, 4 days ago. It's a Blaze TV. I'm not sure how this is going to go, but we shall try.
Nothing makes them happier than the
another
partners.
ad.
We're putting a link in the video description for 60% off your first box.
This is the most comprehensive book ever written to expose the Democrat Party right up to today. Ever. So this isn't a plea.
I plan on reading that book, by the way.
We must engage these people. And you must engage them on ideas. Mark, enough of the ideas. Ideas. Marxism is an idea. Fascism is an...
Yeah, right now I'm reading the ebook of American Marxism, so that will be a review that is in the making. Um, I've read several of Levin's books now, so it's the usual normal harping, but there is a lot of research that he puts into his books. He will take you back to the historical stuff, and he will also he'll kind of weave a narrative around it. But what I like about Levin's work so far, I really like that historical aspect, and he has access. I don't know exactly how he has access to some of this. Well, not really. It's not classified material, but where is the source is what I'm wondering. Does he have his staffers or his team of researchers? Does he have them go to Library of Congress, or does he have them go to other archives and stuff? I mean, I don't understand, and I would really like to be able to kind of iron that out, because, I know that I can go to like nationalarchives.org and stuff, but I don't have access like I used to as a student. In in a university library, you're able to log in and you're able to have almost access to anything within reason. If you don't have to have a license to do it, you're able to access it. So yeah, let's go through this.
An idea. It's the battle of ideas. People are persuaded by socialism and Marxism. Why? Because they never produce what they say they're going to produce. They produce horror. They produce death. They produce impoverishment. But the promises are endless. If only you would give up more liberty. If only you would give up private property. If only you would do what we tell you to do. If only we could tell that guy to shut up and knock him off the air. If only we could have free college for everybody. If only we could have family leave. If only we'd open borders so we could get people in here that will do the jobs that nobody else will do. If only everybody had a right to health care. I don't know. Oh, that sounds good. Now you know what all this means? Liberty takes some explanation. Not to those who don't have it, but to those who do. In most countries in the world, you don't get up in the morning, what shall I do today? I don't know. Or I have a job, I got to get there. It doesn't work that way. Most countries in the world are fending to survive. And even in advanced so-called societies like China, you have to watch what you say, where you say it, when you say it, or you're disappeared.
Yep.
What happened to the former premier of China, that older fellow? He's gone. He used to have all the power in the world. What did they do? Obviously, they shot him in the back of the head and they put him in a ditch.
Yeah.
Where's the foreign minister of China today? He used to be the ambassador to the United States from Communist China. Well, now he's out of the group, out of the public group. What happened to him? What do you think happened to him? He's disappeared. There's no law and order there. And so when I start out my book, it's a funny thing. I started to write the book and I said, let me look at what Freedom House has to say. What's Freedom House? It's this nonprofit independent organization, sort of left of center, certainly not right, it's left of center, but does a pretty good job when it comes to these regimes like Russia and China and so forth. Does a very poor job when it comes to the United States. So I fixed that. They put out a huge report on tyranny in Russia and China and how they create these impressions of democracy and all these things they do, and they explain it and they rate it. So I took that and I applied it to the United States. I took it. It's a significant part of Chapter 1 called authoritarianism, the Democrat Party. It's frightening. It's frightening, the similarities.
Okay.
We are definitely on the road to totalitarianism. And so when you have these other books coming out, in September, in October, those are the big months to sell books, leading up to Christmas. What do you think's going on? It's more the propaganda mill. Mao has a huge following. I don't know why. That was hell. It was always wrong. It doesn't matter. The anti-American forces, and they pretend they're the pro-American forces against us. And same with this other woman, who is apparently a Facebook star. And they're talking about how to save democracy, how to promote democracy and liberty and individualism and everything else, because you're the problem, our views are the problem, and then they claim out of one side of their mouth that the founders are the problem, and then out of the other side of their mouth that they're the real progeny of the founders of the country. This has gone on long enough. It's going on in colleges and universities. It's now going on in government-run public schools. It goes on in the media. It goes on in entertainment, whether it's plays or movies or everything else. These people wrap themselves in democracy. They wrap themselves in individualism, and they get away with it because they control the culture. We have no control over the culture. And so we need to push back. We have to claw our way back. We have to fight our way back. The Republican Party is not the answer. It's not. I'll give you a perfect example why. They're fighting on Capitol Hill right now whether or not they should support a special counsel to investigate Biden, or even whether they should have an impeachment inquiry on Joe Biden. This is the most corrupt president in American history. It's not even close. It's not. Who else? Who else? Teapot Dome? No. The corruption under Ulysses S. Grant, he wasn't involved. Okay? No.
Okay.
This is the president of the United States and his family with foreign monies, millions and millions coming in. Money that is laundered to try and conceal it. IRS agents who are prevented from investigating it. FBI agents who are prevented from investigating it. A media that is the Praetorian Guard of this administration and every Democrat administration. And I get into that. So I am not going to talk about this. I don't need a surface level like so many hosts, radio, TV, and elsewhere, even books. But they don't even write. I am telling you that we need to push back. This is the most comprehensive book ever written to expose the Democrat Party right up to today. Ever. Ever. How do I know? Because I read them.
Okay.
That's how I know. That's all I do. The Democrat Party hates America. There was a discussion about this title. Is it too provocative? I don't know. Was American Marxism too provocative? liberty and tyranny, where we believe in liberty and their tyranny, was that too provocative? Unfreedom of the press, was that too provocative? That's the problem. When you call a spade, you're provocative. Now, they can call you Nazis, they can call you extremist MAGA, they can call you white supremacists, even those of you who aren't white. They can say whatever they want. Neo-Nazis, Klansmen, it goes on and on and on. Whatever you do, don't say the Democrat Party hates America. So I said, that's the title. Now, I know what that means. That title means that there are even conservative organizations that are going to shy away from this because they pretend to be, bipartisan. Well, that's pretty gutless. And there will be bookstores that keep them in the boxes in the back, or don't put the book in the front. There will be complaints by the left to boycott it, or a lobby that started with Target, and we put that to rest as fast as we could within 24 hours. I wasn't going to put up with that. But you can be sure when you go to Costco to purchase the book, they'll all be turned over, they'll all be covered by other stacks. I got it. But if you want to read the book, you can get the book. And so I'm asking you, if you want to participate in this battle, the battle is on September 19th. But you don't prepare for the battle on the day of the battle. You prepare for the battle before the battle. And I'm going to be pushing very, very hard. I'm going to do everything I can. I'm even going to book signings, where I hope I see many of you, but quite frankly, we have to have significant security these days. Significant. For me. It's okay. I'm sick and tired of being pushed around and threatened and bullied and all the rest. Not that they ever are successful with that, but we're not going to put up with abortion on demand. Any of you might support abortion, whatever that means.
Thank you.
But not abortion on demand right up to the end. You know what that is? That's a sick form of eugenics. That's what that is. Same Democrat Party pushing for the same thing. That's not Roe v. Wade. No free nation on the face of the earth kills its children in the womb a week before birth. None. Except this one. Except America. They don't do it in France. They don't do it in Britain. They don't do it in Germany. They do it in the United States. It's called choice. No, it's called the Democrat Party.
When it comes to working out, we've all heard the same stuff.
Wanting power. I'll give you a footnote on that. I discussed it here. The most reliable demographic group and most significant for the Democrat Party, it's not African Americans. It's not. It's not Jewish Americans. It's not. You know what it is? Young, single women. Young, unmarried women. Who support abortion at the most extremist level. Not everyone, obviously, but as a group, more than any other group. Blacks don't. Hispanics don't. Married women don't. Women with children don't. That demographic, which affects the vote in the suburbs, as well as the inner city, is the demographic the Democrat Party is trying to. Why? Because they vote in astronomical numbers. And they believe that's why the Republicans didn't have the midterm success that they were expecting to have. That's what they believe. And it's a significant number of the population. That's why they think the position they do on abortion. It's about power. They don't care about babies. They don't care about women. They don't care about any of that stuff. They won't even define women. If they care about women, they wouldn't be destroying girls and women's sports, now would they? Care about women. 50 years ago, it was anti-black racism. Today, it's anti-white racism. It's whatever it is. Power, baby. Power. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
And it means switching a position, genuflecting, they will do it. Like they are now, embracing Marxism. And so it is important that we are successful when it comes to the debate over ideas. It is important that we are successful in passing the word along from our family to our friends, to our neighbors, to our co-workers.
Yeah.
It is important that we, quietly, in our churches and synagogues and mosques or anywhere else, explain to the people who may not understand or even engage in debate, and explain what the problem is, these forces of Marxism, and who specifically is responsible for it. The Democrat Party. Have you noticed, whether it's critical race theory, or sexualizing children in elementary school, or having pornography in public school libraries, whatever the agenda is, have you noticed the Democrat Party is the home of those movements? Can you name more than one or two Democrats who speak out against critical race theory? No, you can't. Can you name more than one or two Democrats who speak out against sexualizing our children in elementary school? No, you can't. Can you name more than one or two Democrats nationally who oppose pornography in our public school libraries, our elementary school libraries? No, you can't. No, you can't.
For all this and much more, sign up for Levine TV.
Harvard law professor urges a special counsel.
Attorney General Merrick Garland appointing Delaware U.S. Attorney David Weiss as special counsel in the ongoing Hunter Biden tax probe. The appointment allows Weiss to prosecute Hunter Biden in any district he sees fit, rather than just in Delaware. Maria asked Texas Senator Ted Cruz about this on Sunday Morning Futures yesterday. Watch.
Your reaction to David Weiss being named as special counsel here?
He is a wildly inappropriate person to be a special counsel. We should have a special counsel, but number one, we should have a special counsel to investigate Merrick Garland for whether he lied under oath to Congress in response to questioning from me, number one, and whether he committed obstruction of justice. Those are both the allegations that came from the whistleblowers. And number two, we need a whistleblower not to go back and bury what Hunter Biden did, which is what David Weiss has been doing for 5 years. We need a special counsel to investigate Joe Biden and the $20 million that his family received while he was vice president. The allegation now is...
Yeah, you tell him, Ted Cruz.
It's not a little gun charge.
You tell him.
It is bribery of the president of the United States is what these allegations are. And this special counsel, he ain't going to do anything to get to the bottom of that.
But what about that old freeze that hit old Texas? So I don't think that you're really serving the state of Texas as I don't think you're serving the state of Texas as good as you could be. Just saying, go chase those windmills, everybody. Remember what that guy Don Quixote?
Joining me now is Harvard Law Professor Emeritus Alan Dershowitz. Alan, good morning.
Oh my goodness, this guy, man, Alan Dershowitz, really, again. He shows up on freaking Fox Business, no, like nobody's business now. He shows up on this and The Blaze, It's just nonstop. And then he also released Get Trump at Any Cost. That Skyhorse Press, that Alex Jones publisher, also published this guy's book. I mean, there is something weird going on with Skyhorse Press because of all of these people that they've got together. I don't understand it. I mean, yeah, a lot of them have been canceled. RFK Jr., for example, or either uh Dr. Malone and Ed Dowd and a couple of others have also chipped in and thrown, written some books. Judy Mikovits. Now, I think, wow, her story is crazy. I'd like to be able to get access to some more funds to be able to actually order her books. Her books seem like they would be spot on for stuff that you would need to be able to confront school boards, to be able to confront medical boards and whatnot, emergency management commissioners or whatever. I mean, that's what it seems like her books would be good for. I mean, if you wanted something simple like you just want to go to the school board and get the mask mandates and the jab requirements to be to nix them, you're gonna want something like Fauci and Bargain by Steve Deese to be able to confront the school boards and stuff. You're gonna want that book. But there's other books out there that just it was like I was saying in another review. How can these some of these nonfiction books just be how can they be used as testimony? Because it's printed, it's out there. They pretty much, unless you state that the work this is a work of fiction and places and people are merely a coincidence, you even have to print that now if you do fiction kind of stuff. I mean, just to make sure that those likenesses, you can't be sued for that. Even if you used, I don't know, for example, I had, one short story where I was thinking, of John Coffey from the Green Mile. And, he would have played a perfect part for a specific, short story that I was writing and everything. But, John Coffey's no longer with us. That would never be able to work, if they wanted to transfer that over to film, because, the vision wouldn't be there. It wouldn't be right. And, rest in peace, John Coffey. But let's finish this up. Let's see what this kitty diddler defender has to say.
You are also the author of the book, Get Trump, the threat to civil liberties, due process, and our constitutional rule of law. First, I want to get your reaction to those comments from Senator Cruz.
Finally, as requested by so many of you, we have again for a short time a ton of these free products to give away.
Well, Ted was my student. He was one of my very good students. And I think he overstates it a little bit when he accuses Merrick Garland of lying. There's no confession, no doubt that there was a dispute between how Garland described the role previously of David Weiss and how David Weiss described it to friends. But I attribute that more to a misunderstanding. What I would have liked to find out is what David Weiss actually did, not what he was authorized to do. What did he actually investigate? Did he look into Burisma? Did he look into Ukraine, China, or did he merely satisfy himself by looking at the gun charge, which is a minor misdemeanor, and looking at the two tax charges? I think it was the wrong person to pick for this job. First of all, it's illegal. The regulation provides clearly that special counsel has to come from outside government for good reason. What's so special about a special counsel is that he doesn't have to answer to the president administration. He's independent, but if you have somebody who serves at the pleasure of the attorney general, and obviously as the U.S. attorney he serves as pleasure as part of the administration, that person shouldn't be serving. But it's a clear violation of the regulation itself, and somebody probably has the standing, I don't know who, to challenge this appointment. Under Biden would have standing, he would want to do it. The prosecution would have standing, they don't want to do it. So the question is, who would have standing to challenge this clear violation of the regulation that is binding on the Justice Department?
Now, I want to ask you about, because look, there could be some felony tax charges here. I mean, that's a possibility. I don't know if that's going to happen. We don't know why it's going to be. But the statute of limitations issue is very interesting, because now he's running up against the statute of limitations on the tax and the gun charges. So if you think about it, if this is politically motivated, he can push this out. He could, I mean, the statute of limitations can run out for some of these charges, and then as he's doing his quote-unquote investigation, the clock runs out. We're in November of 2024, and we still don't have a report from David Weiss about Hunter Biden. I mean, is this a way to politically?
Oh, yes, they would love to do that. They would just so love to do that. They want to be able to sweep this under the rug. Of course. While they persecute Trump the entire time. The more they load on Hunter Biden, the more they're going to load on Trump. That's I don't know. I don't know how we can fix this. I don't. I don't.
And I've been doing this for 60 years. I've never seen the statute of limitations run out. As it's about to run out, prosecutors always say to the defense attorney, to his lawyers, look, either give us a tolling agreement, let's extend the statute, or we're going to indict you tomorrow. I've never heard of a situation where by accident the statute of limitations runs out. The real question is not necessarily whether justice is being done. For all I know, Weiss is a decent guy and is going to pursue this. It's whether there's the appearance of justice. When you have the son of the president, and we have a possible investigation of the president himself, you better be the only approach. You better make sure that the special counsel is outside the government as the regulations require. You have to make sure that there's no statute of limitations from. I have to tell you, with great reluctance, because I voted for Joe Biden, and I intend to vote for him again if there are no changes in circumstances. I'm a Democrat. I really do think the special counsel has to be appointed to investigate whether or not President Biden had any connections to his son's illicit dealings. We already have a special counsel looking at Joe Biden for classified material. But classified material, those are paper cases. That's not particularly important. We have everybody in government has had some classified material problems. But I think there's right now enough cause from these local whistleblowers and these other allegations to have somebody outside the government look to see whether or not President Biden had any connections to his son's shenanigans. I hope not. I think not. But it's not my opinion that counts. It's the objective evidence.
Well, the whistleblowers did claim that Weiss actually failed to follow the foreign money trail. I just want to put that out there. But I do want to move on to some more legal issues with you. This is a big one. So a fourth criminal indictment against former President Trump could be issued as early as this week. This Georgia grand jury may begin hearing evidence today. Former Georgia Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan confirms he's testifying tomorrow. And then you've got an independent journalist that posted that he received a call from Fulton County DA Fannie Willis and has been called to testify, Alan. So this would be the fourth round, the fourth indictment of the former president. I guess where do we stack this up in terms of difficulty for Mr. Trump?
Right. Well, in my book, Get Trump, I predicted all four of these indictments. So far, all of my predictions have come true. I predicted that the court would not Hunter Biden nomination. Very nicely, Mark Levin called me yesterday the Nostradamus of the legal profession, because I predicted everything correctly. And I predicted the Georgia indictment. If the Georgia indictment is based on the telephone call, it will fail. Because the telephone call has to be taken literally. And in the telephone call, President Trump said, I want you to find, not make up, not concoct. I want you to find. Find has a meaning. Find means it's there. It just hasn't been counted yet. It hasn't been found. So if that's the basis for the Georgia case, that there's nothing there. If there's more to it, we have to wait and see what there is that is more to it. But I'm concerned this is, again, another effort to try to get Trump. And the problem with the Georgia indictment for Trump is that he couldn't pardon himself for that. It's a state charge, not a federal charge, although it involves a federal election. And that's another issue. How much power the state has really to prosecute and investigate election involving the president of the United States, whether this should legitimately be a federal investigation or whether every state can investigate the federal election through its own grand jury. These are hard legal questions, and we'll wait to see whether he gets indicted. My prediction, he will be indicted in Georgia, as he was in New York and in Florida and in the District of Columbia. In my book, Get Trump, I show that none of those indictments stand up.
Do you think that's this week, right? Do you think Georgia's this week?
I think so. I mean, it could be next week, but it'll be very soon because we know that he's a target. We know that there have been testimony against him, so I think it's going to happen very quickly.
Since you're Nostradamus.
Oh, well. Well, as we can see, it's still a mess. And I think that's about all I can stomach for the day. So, I will wish you all a good night. And have a good week. And if you don't mind, after 2 hours and 27 minutes of this, if you'd like for the algorithm, I'd really appreciate it. Subscribe and share, so you don't miss a video, and that we can get this message out. Like I said, I don't want to be so black-pilled about it, but we should be there for each other. And with that, I will be turning in for the night, and I hope you have sweet dreams tonight. See you next time.